Dear sisters, brothers, and beloved soulmates, I am Ramon Krishna Vadapalli, the owner of this channel, dedicated to promoting a moral and spiritual society worldwide. Our main objective is to share the epic story of the Mahabharata, which serves as a rich collection of spiritual and moral teachings. This includes the Bhagavad Gita, a profound source of enlightenment for all humanity. I kindly ask all viewers to subscribe, like, and share this channel to support our mission. The Mahabharata comprises a total of 589 stories, each contributing to our understanding of life and spirituality. Please subscribe and share and support me for more likewise. Thank you. Yours, Vadapalli Ramon Krishna, ancient yoga trainer. History of the Kaurava dynasty. Vaisampayana narrated the history of the Kaurava dynasty to Janamejaya. O king! Among the sons of Devayani and Sharmishtha, the Yadava dynasty was founded through Yadu, while the Bohra dynasty emerged through Druhu. The Mleka dynasty flourished due to Anuvu, and the Paurava dynasty arose through Puru. Later, this Paurava dynasty became renowned as the Kaurava dynasty. O Janamejaya! Puru had a son named Janamejaya, and he, in turn, took the name Anantadevi and had a son named Prachisha. Prachisha fathered Ashmoki by Ativa, and Ashmoki, who married Varanga, had a son named Ahamiti. Ahamiti married Bhanumati, and their son was Sarvabhauma. Sarvabhauma begot Jayatsena by Sunandal, and Jayatsena had a son named Avachin by Susravasa. Avachin had a son named Adihu through a concubine named Mariada. Adihu's wife was Anji, and their son was Mahabhauma. Mahabhauma married Ayuthanika, and their son was Karmadevi, whose son was Akradana. Akradana's wife was Karamba, and they had a son named Devatidi. Devatidi married Lakshmi Mariada, and their union resulted in the birth of Risika. Risika had a son named Riksha by consuming the sacred water of Sadisha. Riksha married Daksha's daughter, Walla, and they had a son named Matinar. Matinar's beauty enchanted the goddess Saraswati, who took human form, married him, and gave birth to a son named Ilil. Ilil later married a beautiful woman named Radhantari, and their son was Dushyanta. The story of Shakuntala Dushyant. One day, while ruling a vast and powerful empire, King Dushyanta went hunting in the forest with his retinue. As he advanced ahead, killing many wild animals, he came across a river and saw the hermitage of the great sage Kanva on its banks. Entering the hermitage to meet the sage, he was warmly welcomed by a maiden of extraordinary beauty. She informed him that sage Kanva had gone to the forest to gather fruits and invited him to sit. Dushyanta, realizing she was unmarried, asked about her lineage. She introduced herself as Kanva's daughter. Surprised, he questioned how a perpetual celibate like Kanva could have a daughter. In response, she narrated her story, saying that she had once overheard Kanva recounting her birth to a visiting sage. She explained that during King Vishwamitra's penance to attain Brahminhood, Indra, fearing his ascetic power, sent the celestial nymph Manaka to distract him. Manaka, while plucking flowers, had her garment dislodged by the wind, revealing her beauty. Enchanted, Vishwamitra succumbed to desire, and they lived together for a long time, eventually having a daughter. Manaka abandoned the infant on the banks of the Malini River before returning to heaven, while Vishwamitra, realizing his lapse, resumed his penance. Birds, Shakuntas, protected the child from wild animals, and when sage Kanva found her while bathing in the river, he took her in and raised her as his own, naming her Shakuntala after the birds that nurtured her. Hearing this, Dushyanta, realizing she was of noble birth and sensing her affection for him, said, "O beautiful one! These simple garments do not befit your beauty. Marry me and share the pleasures of royalty." Shakuntala replied, "If my father consents, I shall become your wife." Dushyanta, invoking the legality of Gandharva marriage among Kshatriyas, convinced her to marry him immediately. Shakuntala agreed on the condition that the son born from their union should be crowned king. Dushyanta solemnly swore to uphold this promise, and after enjoying their time together, he assured her that he would soon send his ministers to escort her to his palace. He then departed. When sage Kanva returned, he immediately understood what had transpired through his divine vision. Rather than being angered, he reassured Shakuntala, saying, "My child, you have chosen a worthy husband. The son in your womb will be strong and renowned, bringing great glory to our lineage." Shakuntala was overjoyed. She carried the pregnancy for 3 years and eventually gave birth to a son on an auspicious day. Kanva was delighted and performed the necessary rituals. The boy grew up strong and fearless, often playing with wild animals, even tying them to trees in the ashram. Witnessing his strength and dominance, the sages named him Savadamana, one who tames all. Realizing the time had come to present the boy to his father, Kanva called Shakuntala and said, "My child, it is not proper for you to remain here any longer. Go to your husband with your son." Blessing her, he sent her off with his ascetic disciples. Shakuntala, accompanied by them, arrived at Dushyanta's court and addressed him, "O king! You once came to the forest for hunting, where we were united in Gandhava marriage in Kanva's hermitage. This glorious son was born of our union. Fulfill your promise and crown him as your heir." However, to her shock, Dushyanta feigned ignorance and coldly replied, "Who are you? Where are you from? Go back the way you came without making baseless claims." Shakuntala, taken aback, tried to remind him gently, thinking he might have forgotten due to royal responsibilities. She appealed to him, saying, "O king, can a righteous ruler like you utter falsehoods? Can you call your devoted wife a liar? The Vedic scriptures declare that a father is reborn through his son. This son is yours, embrace him and rejoice. The heavens themselves have ordained his kingship. How can I, the daughter of Vishwamitra and Manaka, speak falsehoods?" Yet, Dushyanta continued to deny her, mocking her claims and accusing her of seeking recognition through deception. Heartbroken and humiliated, Shakuntala resolved to leave, praying to the divine for justice. At that moment, a celestial voice from the heavens proclaimed, "O King Dushyanta! Shakuntala is your rightful wife, and this boy is indeed your son. She is virtuous and speaks the truth. Accept them both." Hearing this divine affirmation, Dushyanta was overjoyed. He immediately rose from his throne, embraced his son, and addressed the court. "No one knew of my marriage to Shakuntala, as it was a Gandhava union. I did not reject her out of forgetfulness, but feared public slander. Now that the divine voice has revealed the truth, I no longer hesitate." He honored Shakuntala as his queen and formally named their son Bharata, crowning him as the heir apparent. Dushyanta ruled with Shakuntala for many years, enjoying both worldly and royal pleasures. In his old age, he passed the throne to Bharata and, along with Shakuntala, retired to the Vanaprastha ashram. Bharata inherited the kingdom and ruled with great wisdom, performing numerous sacrifices along the Ganges and distributing alms generously. His unparalleled virtue earned him everlasting fame, and his dynasty came to be known as the Bharata dynasty. His great-grandson was Hasti, after whom the capital city Hastinapura was named. Hasti's wife was Yashodhara, and they had a son named Vikunthaka. Vikunthaka passed away while his wife Sudeva was still pregnant. Their posthumous son, Ajamada, became a king and had 3 wives, fathering 124 sons. Among them, the most valiant, Samvarana, ascended the throne. Samvarana married Tapati, the daughter of the sun god, and their union gave birth to the great king Kuru. It was after Kuru's name that the Paurava dynasty, originally known as the Bharata dynasty, became famous as the Kaurava dynasty. The lineage flourished further, with Kuru's descendant Viduratha having a son named Anashva, whose wife Amrita bore Parikshit. Parikshit married Suyasa, and their son was Bhimasena, who, in turn, married Kumari and had Pratisravasa. Pratisravasa fathered Pratapa, whose wife Sunanda bore 3 sons, Devapi, Shantanu, and Baliku. The eldest, Devapi, renounced the throne and retreated into asceticism, allowing the second son, Shantanu, to ascend as king. With his younger brother Baliku's exceptional strength and valor as his support, King Shantanu's rule spread the glory of the Kuru dynasty far and wide, marking the continued prosperity of the lineage. Ganga Shantanu's meeting. King Shantanu ruled the vast Bharata kingdom auspiciously. One day, while hunting for pleasure, he grew tired and went to the banks of the Ganges to cool off. There, he encountered Ganga, who was wandering in human form. Enchanted by her beauty, he was instantly drawn to her, and she too felt the same attraction. However, recalling his father's warning, Shantanu remained silent despite his overwhelming desire. Sensing his thoughts, Ganga, the queen of pleasures, took the initiative and approached him, saying, "O king, I know your mind. I have no objection to uniting with you." However, you must follow my conditions. You must not ask me anything about my identity until I choose to reveal it, nor should you question or object to any of my actions. The moment you break this promise, I will leave you." Blinded by his infatuation and also bound by his father's words, Shantanu agreed to her conditions. He brought Ganga to his palace, where they indulged in the pleasures of love and royal luxuries. As time passed, his love for her deepened instead of waning. Eventually, Ganga became pregnant, carrying the child for 9 months, and at the right time, she gave birth to a son. Overjoyed at having an heir, Shantanu ordered grand celebrations. However, to his utter shock, Ganga took the newborn and threw him into the Ganges. The king was horrified and desperately wanted to question her actions, but he remained silent, fearing that if he spoke, she would leave him forever. He also remembered his father's words, which restrained him from reacting. Despite this act, Ganga's beauty and charm only grew, making her more captivating than ever. She continued to tease and flirt with the king, drawing him deeper into his love and desire for her. After a few years, she became pregnant again and gave birth to another son. Once more, she took the newborn and cast him into the river. Instead of showing remorse, she playfully threw herself into Shantanu's lap, laughing sweetly like a cooing dove, teasing and seducing him until he was completely lost in her allure. This pattern continued over the years. Each time Ganga bore a son, she would take the child and drown him in the Ganges. This happened a total of 7 times. Yet, despite witnessing these inexplicable acts, Shantanu remained helplessly enchanted by her. Her youth, beauty, and irresistible charm only seemed to intensify, making her even more alluring with each passing day. She captivated him with new forms of elegance and seduction, keeping him in a constant state of longing and passion, preventing him from questioning her actions or even considering letting her go.